time to Otmar Issing.
Thank you. I would like to thank the organizers for inviting me again to this tremendous conference. To demonstrate my respect for Italy, I've chosen a tie which was given to me during the Italy's presidency in 2003. Exactly. When I was here for the first time, I was given a hard task to defend the monetary policy of the Bundesbank, which was seen much too tight in this country. Speaking later on the euro, the reception was much more friendly, probably more friendly than I deserved. To talk about challenges, I am fully aware about the pressing challenges Peter Sutherland and others have pointed to, but I will concentrate on economic issues, and I here will focus on how to stabilize the European Monetary Union. And speaking here in Italy, I cannot resist to refer to a time when a merchant could pay with the same money, the denarius, throughout his long journey from Roma via Colonia Claudia Ara Agrippinensium to Lutetia Parisiorum to Londinium, that is via Cologne and Paris to London. Since what was later called Europe has seen the collapse of empires and states and experienced a multitude of different currencies. But over so many centuries, from time to time, the idea, the dream of a common currency revived. And on 1st of January 1999, this vision became reality. The euro is the currency of initially 11, now 19 countries. And the concept of common money was seen also as a pacemaker towards political union. Already in 1950, Jacques Rueff claimed l'Europe se fera par la monnaie ou ne se fera pas. And when on 6th of November 1991, Chancellor Kohl presented the Maastricht Agreement to the Deutsche Bundestag, he emphasized, I quote, "Political union is the indispensable counterpart to economic and monetary union. Recent history, and not just that of Germany, teaches us that the idea of sustaining an economic and monetary union over time without political union is a fallacy." As we know, when EMU started on 1st of January 1999, as I mentioned, no further progress in the direction of political union was achieved. In fact, it had not even been tried. Three options therefore remain. First, in the course of time, monetary union will develop into a fully fledged political union. Second, monetary union can survive without political union, at least for some time to come. And third, monetary union will, like predecessors in the past, collapse because of the lack of political union. The crisis now is seen by many as evidence not only that the present institutional arrangement is not sustainable, it's also an argument of finishing the incomplete house of European integration as seen of utmost urgency. The recent report of the 5 presidents, I will just take this example. There are many initiatives before. One of was taken by my colleague and friend Jean-Claude Trichet. He referred to that this morning. The report of the presidents asked for progress in the direction of a genuine economic union, a financial union, a fiscal union, and finally, I quote, "a political union that provides the foundation for all of the above through genuine democratic accountability, legitimacy, and institutional strengthening." End of quote. The idea of the euro as a pacemaker to political union is now turned upside down. It is not anymore a strong common currency which contributes to European identity and brings the European people closer to each other. The opposite has happened. The euro crisis has triggered resentments and worse among the people resentments which we hoped had finally disappeared 70 years after the end of World War II. How convincing is the idea to see this crisis as a chance to overcome such strong tensions? It is true, Jean Monnet insisted that European integration can make progress only through crisis. However, should we rely on this method also in a situation of a deep lack of mutual trust? How strong is the risk that trying to move forward under such circumstances might create even more resistance? To my judgment, the report, to be very blunt, of the 5 presidents is fundamentally flawed. The same is true for a proposal which is included in this report to establish a European finance minister. The report contains a number of important observations. The most important one is asking urgently for the completion of the single market. And Mario Monti has presented a report 3 years ago showing the way to achieve that. The report is based on the idea that all steps, as I mentioned, financial union, etc., are to be taken in parallel, and they will finally end in a political union. But for a long time to come, political union, I'm convinced, will remain a vision at best. Establishing a political union would request a change of national constitutions and a referendum in most countries. Who would expect that this process could be successfully completed under present and foreseeable future circumstances? The 5 presidents, and for example also President Hollande, in a recent statement in the same direction, suggested this process to start only after 2017. Is it wrong to suspect that the reason for this timing is concern that voters in the national election in the biggest countries might react negatively to this ambition? However, if the chances for political union are close to zero over a realistic period of time, it is, to my mind, misleading and dangerous to transfer now fiscal competencies to the European level. The report, for example, suggests that the governance of the European Stability Mechanism should be fully integrated within the EU treaties. Furthermore, a euro area treasury is proposed. And I quote from the report, "The Stability and Growth Pact remains the anchor for fiscal stability and confidence in the respect of our fiscal rules. In addition, a genuine fiscal union will require more joint decision-making on fiscal policy. This would not mean centralization of all aspects of revenue and expenditure policy. Euro area member states would continue to decide on taxation and the allocation of budgetary expenditures according to national preferences and political choices. However, as the euro area evolves towards a genuine monetary union, decisions will increasingly need to be made collectively while ensuring democratic accountability and legitimacy. A future euro area treasury could be the place for such collective decision-making." End of quote. Limited or not, this is a transfer of fiscal responsibility to the European level. For me, it is hard to see how democratic accountability and legitimacy can be guaranteed without a fully fledged political union. The call to give priority to European demands runs up against the barrier of national constitutions and sovereignty. This conflict cannot simply be resolved by gradually shifting competencies de facto from the national level to what is called Europe. Nor can a substantial expansion of the EU budget resolve this conflict. Under the existing institutional circumstances, political responsibility for higher transfer payments and their financing must remain with the national governments, controlled by national parliaments and a national electorate. Political union in Europe cannot be attained through the back door by eroding national fiscal policy sovereignty. On the one hand, this would create moral hazard. On the other, it would foster resistance against enforced transfers. An attempt to follow this path would be bound to lead to tensions that might even jeopardize the degree of integration that has been achieved to date. Violation of the principle of taxation without representation is a wrong and dangerous approach to deepen European integration. For a considerable period of time, as I've mentioned, European monetary union has to exist without political union. Or formulated this way, monetary union will remain an institutional arrangement between national states which will in principle insist on their sovereignty on fiscal issues. If member countries respect the wish of their people to retain fiscal sovereignty, the institutional arrangement for monetary union has to guarantee that national governments will be held accountable for their economic policies. As a consequence, the no bailout clause will be indispensable, has to be restored. Against what is seen as a lesson of history, for an extended period of time, monetary union, I am convinced, can survive without political union, if, but only if, treaties and commitments are respected. Pacta sunt servanda. If this principle is permanently violated, how can one expect a prosperous future for Europe from a new set of treaties which would be even more demanding than the old and present ones? Thank you for your attention.